Hey guys, it's me, Miss Mills, and welcome to Mrs. Mills' Math Time. The whole point of this video is to help you out with IXL Y6. This is where you have to graph a line from an equation, and the equation is going to be in slope-intercept form. So, we are going to be solving systems of equations. This whole unit is going to be about solving systems of equations. And one way to solve systems is in order to graph them. And what a system of an equation is where, you're going to have two lines or more, two or more lines, and you have to find where all those lines meet up in the middle. Like, where do they touch each other? We got to find the ordered pair where they touch each other. So, in order to solve systems of equations, you have to know how to graph a line. So, I want to review how to do that this week. Then you're going to have spring break, and then we are going to start hitting the ground running with solving systems of equations as soon as y'all get back from spring break. But we are going to practice this week. So I highly recommend you having out your notes from this week while you're doing this IXL, because your notes, if I go back to them, how to graph linear equations notes, those are going to help you out like a great deal, because what they are, especially these notes, they're just the steps on how to graph a line from an equation. It tells you what the equation is going to look like. It's going to be in slope-intercept form, where your y-intercept is going to be this b value, and then your slope is going to be the m value. The slope is always next to the x in the linear equation. So here are the steps to graphing an equation. First step is you have to plot the y-intercept. Again, the y-intercept is your b value. So you have to plot that first. After you plot that, then you can use the slope, which is your m value. So it's the number where m is going to be next to the x. And you're going to use the slope to do rise over run to make the rest of your line. If you're making the line on paper, what you have to do is you have to make like two or three, I recommend like 3 or 4 points in order to, put down your straight edge and make a straight line. You're going to connect the dots. But on the IXL that we're doing, you just have to plot 2 points and it'll make the line for you. 1 point is going to be where the y-intercept is. And the second point is where you're going to have used the slope to the rise over run on the slope to pick the second point. So let's practice that skill. And again, I recommend having these notes here when you're doing this IXL. But I'm going to do lots of examples, and if y'all have any questions afterwards, let me know. All right, so according to your notes, here's our line. It's in slope-intercept form, so that means, no, go back. That means that the slope is going to be this number right here. It's going to be 9, and the y-intercept is going to be 1, and we need to make a line based off of this. Well, according to your notes, you have to plot the y-intercept first. The y-intercept is your b value, remember? So it's going to be at the very end of the equation. That's your b value. So if I come back to this IXL, well, my 1 right here is my y-intercept. And if you remember, the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So here's the y-axis right here. And if our y-intercept is 1, that means on the y-axis, my first point is at 1. And that's it. That's my first point. After I've done that first point, I have to use rise over run on the slope. The slope in this particular case is 9. Okay? So when you have a number by itself, here's the biggie. When you have a number by itself, you have to assume that its fraction form is going to be that number over 1. Every number has a fraction form. 1, 2, 7, 3. Their fraction forms is going to be 1 over 1, 2 over 1, 3 over 1, 7 over 1. A number by itself, literally any number, its fraction form is going to be that number over 1. So in this case, if you see a number by itself, like in this case it is 9, the slope is going to be 9 over run. So that means our rise is going to be 9 blocks, so we're going to go up 9 times. And our run, which is always from left to right, so from here, we're going to go that way, it's going to be 1. So we're going to go 1 block. So from this point right here, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And then I'm going to run 1 time. So this is where my next point needs to be at. So if I go back, I can do that. I'm going to go up 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to run 1 time. 1. There's my line. And I'm going to use fireworks. Submit. Perfect. All right, same thing here, okay? Our y-intercept is 3. It's 3 right here. So I need to go where, sorry, I'm having a lot of fun with the mouse. I want to go to classic mouse. There we go. So the 3 is my y-intercept. So on the y-axis, I need to find 3. That's my first point, and it's going to be right here. So I'm going to plot it. My next step, my slope says I have to rise 1 time because my numerator is 1, and then I'm going to run 7 times because my denominator is 7. So from here, I'm going to rise 1 time, 1, and then I'm going to run 7 times. I'm going to have to count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there you go. I've plotted my second point, and this IXL makes the line for you, so you're done. Submit. I like the fireworks better. All right, same thing. First, I got to plot the y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be a positive 4. So on the y-axis, I need to locate my 4. Well, it's right here. So I'm going to point that first. Then it says my slope is 6. And if you remember, when you have a number by itself, in this case, it's going to be 6. Its fraction form is going to be the number over 1. So my slope is going to be 6 over 1. So I'm going to rise 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to run 1 time. And I'm going to plot my second point. And I am done. All right, same thing here. I'm going to find my y-intercept first. It's 1, positive 1. So here's 1 on the y-axis. And I'm going to rise 4 times, and my slope is going to be 4 over 1 because 4 is by itself. So I'm going to rise 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to run 1 time. Plot my second point, and I'm done. All right, so in this case, we have a negative slope. So don't freak out. It's the same thing, okay? Except our slope is going to be a negative slope, and I'll show you what I mean. So first step, though, is go ahead and plot our y-intercept. Our y-intercept is 3, so I'm going to put that point there at 3. And then it says this is a negative 1/2. So what that means is instead of going up 1 time, I'm going to be going down 1 time, but my run is still going to be the same. So my slope is negative 1, so I'm going to go down 1 time, and my run is 2. So I went down 1, and my run is 2. 1, 2. Plot my second point. So that's all it is. If you see negative slope, instead of going up, how many times is the numerator? You're going to go down instead. Your run is still going to be the same, so you can have a negative slope. Or I guess negative slope. All right, so I'm going to jump a level to see if we have any. Yeah, all right. So eventually you're going to get to where you have a big coordinate plane. Don't freak out. It's going to be the exact same thing, okay? The line's going to be a little bit bigger. It's going to spread out more than just one quadrant. Same thing, though. Our y-intercept is a 7, but here's the thing. There is a negative in front of that 7. There's a minus sign. So instead of it being a positive 7, instead of us putting it here, it's going to be a negative 7. So I need to plot that point between negative 6 and negative 8. So it's going to be right here. All right, so I did that, and now I need to use my slope. My slope says I need to rise 2 times because that's my numerator. And after I rise 2 times, I'm going to run 7 times. So I'm going to rise 2 times. 1, 2. And I'm going to run 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plot my second point. I'm going to do fireworks for this one for funsies and submit. Awesome. Okay. All right. So in this case, you don't have a y-intercept. What that means is that your y-intercept is going to be 0. So your first point is going to be, and I'm going to use fireworks for this, at the origin of the graph. So in this case, if your y-intercept is 0, because it's not there, that's going to be your first point. I'm going to keep you doing fireworks. This is lit. All right. So then after I did that, now my slope is going to be 1 over 5. So I'm going to rise 1, and I'm going to run 5. So 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fireworks, terrific. Okay. Now I have a negative slope again, so I need to be careful. My y-intercept is going to be a positive 3. So on the y-axis, I'm going to locate positive 3. It's right there. All right, and then my slope is -3. So what that means is I'm going to go down 3 points. And when you have, again, a number by itself, the run is going to be 1. So it's going to be -3 over 1. So from this point, instead of going up 3, I'm going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. But my run is still +1. There you go. All right, so I have negative everythings here. First step is my -4 is my y-intercept. So on the y-axis, I'm going to locate -4. It's right here. So that's my first point. Then my rise is -1. So I'm going to go down 1 time, and my run is going to be +4. So from here, go down 1. I'm going to run 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta-da! And submit. All right, here. I don't have a y-intercept, so that means it has to be at 0. Okay. But I do have a slope, and it's -7 over 9, so that means I'm going to go down 7 times, then I'm going to run 9 times. So I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's my second point, and I'll go ahead and click submit. All right, let me see if there's any other, there's no other levels. Okay. So guys, that's all I'm going to do for this IXL. Let me know if you have any questions. Point the y-intercept first, plot that first, and then use your slope. And remember, if you have a negative slope, instead of going up, you're going to go down how many times is in the numerator, and your denominator is still going to go to the right. I hope y'all have a wonderful spring break, and I will see y'all later. Bye.